What's up, guys? This is Mike Zagari with PPC Entourage. Today, I'm joined by Drew Perticesi and Seth Stevens from Quick Fast Hurry, and I'm going to unveil to you what Entourage Masters is all about. So many of you have been asking me over the last few weeks and kind of intrigued about Entourage Masters, and stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to share with you all about Entourage Masters. Now, today on this video, we're also going to release some incredible content. Seth has been my mentor for a couple of years. I came to him a couple of years ago when we were having some really bad cash flow issues, and I asked him, Seth, can you take a look at my business and give me some insight? And right away, we identified two core issues that we're going to talk about on this video. So hopefully you can learn from the mistakes that I made and apply that to your business. So first, I'd like to introduce you guys to Seth and Drew. What's up, guys? How are you guys today?
Hey, Mike.
Super excited to be here, Mike. Thank you.
Yeah, super excited.
Hey, Seth, can you introduce yourself a little bit and then go into how we work together on two of those core issues?
Yeah, Mike, thank you. So basically, you and I kind of came in contact. One of the guys in our group was bragging about PPC Entourage a few years ago, and I knew I had to reach out. So once we reached out, we kind of got to talking, and it seemed like you were in the same spot in your business that we were just a few years before. You had launched a bunch of products, and you really didn't know where your profit was coming from, and you just had a lot of cash flow issues. And we had just went through that. We had launched 500 different items on Amazon, and we had felt this crunch on our cash flow. So we had experienced the same thing, and we had already been through the other side. So when you and I jumped on the phone, it was so eerily similar to what we had just experienced in our business. And then I just walked you through step by step how we looked at every single product in our product line, and we went through and identified where you're making money, where you're not, how to renegotiate with your suppliers so you get better terms, how you free up tons of cash flow in your business so you can start pouring that back into products that actually produce you a return on investment and profit.
Right. So this was a big turning point for us, guys, because before this, we were wondering where our cash was, and they identified some serious issues that we had. And from that point forward, we did see a spike in our margins. We went from about 9% all the way up to 22% margins. It also helped to spawn the margins tool, which many of you guys are enjoying right now. So why don't we dig into the first tip on this video, which was negotiating with your suppliers. So when I went to you guys a couple of years back, I had the standard terms that a lot of Amazon sellers have: 30% down, 70% due at the end of production. And right away, you guys identified that that was a bit of an issue. Can you go into why that's an issue for Amazon sellers and how they can go about improving their terms with suppliers?
So you're exactly right, Mike. So many Amazon sellers, the biggest problem that they run into is they don't have cash. They don't have cash to reinvest in their business because inventory holds up all the cash. And you had the same terms that everybody else has. You were putting 30% down to start production, and then when they got it done, you were paying the balance. You had 100% of your investment in your inventory tied up day one before it even ships. So now if it's an ocean freight product, you have 100% of your capital tied up, and you have another 30 days before it's going to get in stock. That's a massive problem. So what we did is we went back to our suppliers and said, hey, we need your support here. We believe in the growth between us both long term. So what can we do? And so we ended up coming up with a terms sheet across the board that we said, you have to abide by this if we're going to do business together. And 100% of our suppliers came in line. We put 10% down with the factory to get production started. We come back then, when production's done, we pay 40%. So we have 50% of our capital tied up, and then we pay the remaining balance 60 days after it has shipped. So that scenario is much, much different from a cash flow perspective, because now we essentially have some free days on Amazon to recoup our cash before we have to pay the supplier. That is a crucial distinction when you're growing an Amazon business.
Yeah, guys, the 60 days from when it's shipped out to pay your suppliers at 50% made a huge impact on our business. And I remember having the session with Seth and then going to my partner and saying, hey, here's what they recommended. I wonder if we, negotiating with our supplier, I wonder if we start with even better terms and ask for that first, and then we can land on what Seth recommended. And we actually did that, and we got 5% down. And I know you guys have actually said that some of your suppliers that you have really good relationships with, you got 0% down terms. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the relationships that we've built over time, if you have a factory that you've been working with for a while, you need to lay out a plan of here's what the next 1, 2, 3 years looks like for our projected growth if you guys help us get there. And they're more than happy to help you. And so in a lot of cases, we've come back with even better terms, like Mike said, 0% down, 90-day terms. So we don't pay a dime until after we've had the inventory for 90 days, and we've generated tons and tons of sales on Amazon. So now we've generated the cash to pay the supplier back, and they love it because our sales are so much higher.
Right, and then you could also do this with your freight forwarder too, because we were paying our freight forwarder right away, 100%. And now what we do is we pay just the duties right away, and then we have 30-day terms. And all of this, guys, really helps out with cash flow because it's a cash flow intensive business. So Drew, anything to add to that before we move on to the next tip that you guys helped me out with?
Yeah. I was just about to I was just about to jump in there and say that as far as the nuance of this goes, guys, one of the common mistakes is people will often get frustrated when they go to a new supplier and think that they're going to be able to pull those kind of terms. It can be, it's not as easy to do with brand new suppliers, but if you have great relationships with suppliers and they know that you're selling and that you're reordering, that's when you have the leverage to walk in and say, this is what I want to do. I want us both to grow in a much bigger way. Here's how we can do that. And then you lay down your reasoning for those terms. If you put it in terms where they are going to make more profit and they're going to build an even better long-term relationship with you, that's when they really get excited about coming on board.
I love that. So is this something that you can do like after the second order, after the third order, or is it more about the amount of time that you've had a relationship with these suppliers?
So it's all going to depend on the factory, the person that you're working with, how much do they trust you? Did you lay out a plan, like Drew said, where you're both going to win? Like we've gotten pretty good terms right away in some cases, not on the first order, but maybe on a reorder, like you said. But that's just going to get better and better over time. So don't let it sit stagnant. So like Mike, right now, you have really good terms, but you've developed an even better relationship with your factory now. Your supplier trusts you more. So now you can come back and say, okay, this is good. I think if we get to this level, like 0 down 90-day terms, like what I talked about, if we get to that level, our sales are going to be double. And if our sales are double, you guys are selling twice as much product, which that's what they're after. So don't be afraid to keep renegotiating over time.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And as you build that relationship, you're building that in Chinese. Sean always likes to talk about guangji, which is like your trust and camaraderie and the mutual working togetherness of the relationship. As you build that over time, it's just going to get better and better and better.
Very cool. So now, Seth, the second thing that we spoke about that day was all about improving margins of the business. I mean, that was the general conversation. But one of the things that you helped me realize was that we were carrying a lot of dead weight in products that just weren't moving the needle. So I believe you said that 20 to 30% of our products were actually moving the needle. The rest of them were sort of just sitting there, just for whatever reason, but not creating a big, much profitability in our business. So I'm excited about this because this was like the very beginning stages of the ideas for Entourage margins, which has helped out a lot of people. So thank you very much for this conversation, because I think it planted the seeds in my mind to think about the profitability on a SKU by SKU level, which eventually translated into Entourage margins. So now it's easy to figure this out. But why don't we talk about dead weight in people's businesses? Because I know I had it in my business. People probably have it all across the board in their businesses. How do people identify the dead weight in their business? And how can they get rid of it so they can focus on things that are really driving the needle in their business?
Well, what you just said, the dead weight, a loser product in your Amazon business will kill it. It sucks up so much cash. It doesn't allow you to reinvest into the winners. So when we launched 350 brand new different items in 2015 alone, we really found out what dead weight was, Mike. Before you and I had the conversation, we had a big problem in our business. We had launched 350 new items. And at the end of the year, we had a $365,000 storage bill from Amazon for one quarter or one half of the long-term storage. So we get this big bill and we're like, oh my gosh, where did all this come from? And it was the same problem that you had. It was, we had this dead weight that wasn't producing profit, but not only was it not producing profit, it was costing us so much with our profitable products. So if you don't go back and you don't look at where's my profit coming from on a SKU by SKU basis, which is what you and I did for your business, and then you built a tool around it to make it even easier, That process doubled your profit. That process can double almost everyone's profit if you just know where you should be reinvesting your money. It's so crucial that you get that right.
Right. So now imagine if you weren't doing those two pieces, where you weren't negotiating with your supplier and you weren't getting rid of the products that were just dead weight in your business. Now all your money is tied up in dead weight and dead inventory, and you're not getting any benefits or any terms, and it could really have an impact on your business. So the combination of those two things, like I said before, helped us go from 9 to 22% profit margins. It also helped to free up some cash flow. So guys, what are some actionable tips that people can take today to make sure that this happens in their business? Any ideas there?
Drew, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so one of the things I just wanted to point out here, one of the reasons why, just to put this out there in real world terms, why the cash flow is so important. If you only have to pay 50% when you've only paid a total of 50% when your inventory ships, and then you have another 6 weeks before you have to pay the rest, that means you can launch that product, but then you still have the other 50% in your bank account to be able to launch another product. And so your speed to market becomes so much faster. So one of the tips that I always like to share with this idea is don't get stuck just focusing on that one win, but take that one win and learn how to multiply it, because Amazon, it's all about speed to market. It's all about how fast you can build this. I've got a friend who wants to have 30 products as her goal. She spent the last 18 months on one product. And so I did the math for her and I busted that out, and I'm like, well, you're going to hit that goal in about 45 years. Is that good with you? So speed is everything. So that's why this is also important. Make sure you're always keeping your vision broad.
Yeah,
Right.
another thing, Drew, that pairs right along with that is when you take that cash flow that you just freed up, you have to do the right thing with it. You can't put it back into a loser product. You can't be buying products that don't make you any profit. And so many people do that because they don't know where the profit's coming from. If you don't know how much profit you're making, most likely you're not making any, honestly. So you have to know your business inside and out. If you're not tracking this manually and calculating it, then you need to be using a tool or something that allows you to see this on a SKU by SKU level. Where's my profit coming from? Because I can tell you one thing, that if you are unaware of this, Amazon will just eat all your money. I've had this happen so many times. So you have to know, out of this many sales, I'm going to get this much profit for this product. Here's the storage related to that, and here's how it all applies back. And when Mike found this out for his business, he was barely making anything. 9% is nothing on Amazon. You have to have a way bigger margin to be successful long term. And now he's got it to mid 20s or low 20s. So that's much, much better. So I would say what you need to do is go study your business, find out where your profit's coming from, negotiate with your suppliers to free up the cash, and then put the cash back in the right places.
Right. Guys, so this has been incredible having you on. And next week, we're going to have Seth and Drew back on. And we're going to be talking about, and also I think Sean's going to be joining us as well. And we're going to be releasing 3 nuggets. Now, I'm going to release a nugget next week as well in next week's video. We're going to talk about brand analytics and how to leverage that for your PPC, but also how to leverage that to improve your listings and your listing conversions. Seth and Drew, what are you guys going to be sharing on next week's video?
So next week, I'm going to be talking about how important reviews are for your conversion, to lower your ACoS, to increase your profitability, how important they are, but also how you can improve the quality of listings, hitting your listings every single day, and how you can improve the quantity of reviews coming in as well.
Yep. And I'm going to be talking about some free traffic sources, some ways to actually leverage and create traffic inside of Amazon, things that are really easy to implement, but the vast majority of sellers don't even know are available to them. Ways that you can actually piggyback on the traffic that your competitors are paying for. Your competitors are putting dollars down to get this traffic, and there's some really easy ways to piggyback on the back of that. So I'm going to be teaching about that.
So guys, as you can see, there's a reason why I am super excited to be working with Quick, Fast, Hurry. They are an incredible wealth of knowledge, and Entourage is now teaming up with Quick, Fast, Hurry to bring you Entourage Masters. Now, I promised you I'd talk to you a little bit about what Entourage Masters is all about. Imagine getting this type of information every single month and really getting into the nitty-gritty details about what is going to leverage, what is scale your business, help you grow your business, like rocket fuel to your Amazon business, also brain fuel to your Amazon business. what are the things that are going to help you leverage that and scale your business and take it to the next level? That's why I partnered with Quick Fast Hurry. These guys do a lot on Amazon. They have launched a ton of products. They're always in the weeds with what's working now to scale your business. I'm truly excited to be working with Quick Fast Hurry. And we have an absolutely incredible event coming up February 20th at 2 p.m. Seth, I'm going to kick it over to you to talk a little bit more about this amazing event.
Yeah, Mike, we're going to be talking about 3 massive areas of your business that if you don't get right, I can promise you, you're not going to experience the results in your business that you are wanting. We're going to be talking about how do you find products that are out of the scope of everybody else. You got to find stuff that no one else is looking at and step into demand where it's easy for you to start creating profitable sales. Number 2, we're going to be talking about how do you get those products to show up in Amazon search results so you can start generating in a massive amount of sales. And number 3, the most important piece is how do you turn all of those sales into tons of profit? You guys, this webinar will fill up because it's going to be the most epic event we've ever put on. You have to register now so you save your seat.
All right, guys, there you heard it. So go ahead and click on the link and you can register for this webinar while it's still available. It is going to fill up. It's a great event that we're going to have. Also, be on the lookout for next week's email when we go over those 3 nuggets, because we're going to bring some incredible content and incredible rocket fuel for your business on that email, in that video. So once again, guys, Drew, Seth, thank you guys for joining me very much. And thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you next week.